I am recording here at school, so there may be a bell that may interrupt. So please excuse the bell. Alright, to begin, you want to go to File, New. You would name the project with your name, underscore, Demuth, illustration. You would change the number of artboards to 2. Don't worry about the spacing, just as long as they do not touch. Columns are not an issue, and we're not changing the arrangement. At the moment, make sure that you're in letter size. You click here, press a letter. Of course, letter is always 8.5 by 11, and we're in a portrait view. And we have portrait orientation, and we have landscape orientation. Make sure your units read inches. Then of course you press OK. I'm not going to press OK because of my file is already started, so I'm just going to cancel. You'll press OK, I'm pressing cancel. Alright, so this is what you end up with. 2 8.5 by 11 artboards. Next we're just going to go ahead and set up our layers. So you will simply go to Window and you will click on Layers. When you're over here, you would have an icon. Let me close this so I can see the icon. Icon is not here, but you would see 2 pages on top of each other because layers are just like transparent sheets of paper that you can see through. So I'll click on Layers. Matter of fact, let me hit Essential so we can see if we'll see that icon. There we go. Here's the icon. This is your Layers icon. You can simply click the Layers icon. We're going to make it a floating panel. Excuse my language. We're going to make a floating panel, and we can keep our boards here as well. Just going to move it further down so that it doesn't get in the way. I'll expand my Layers palette. I'll zoom in so that you can see the name of the layers. Don't worry about my extras, just do the ones that I'm going to set up for you. So your first layer would be numbers. You will have line art. Don't worry about my diamond, and don't worry about the second line art. Now if you're not confused, you can go ahead and set up both line arts because you guys will be drawing 2 objects. So then you're also going to have your live trace. You will have a second live trace, but we're not going to get confused. So we're just going to put 1 here. You want your background layer and you want your original image layer. So to begin, you're going to simply use the rectangle tool. Make sure that you have a fill. You don't necessarily need a stroke. To select your fill colors, you can go 2 ways. You can double click here to choose a fill color. You press OK. Or you can make sure that the color palette is open. Anytime a palette is not open, you can always use the icon, or you can go to Window. So if you don't know the icons, of course, you would go to the main menu and choose colors. Okay, none of my colors are open, and I've chosen the color that I want. I'm going to go ahead and close that back. Alright, to create a background, I'll turn on my background layer. You'll see a purple background. For the sake of teaching, I'll delete what I have and I'll redraw it. Using the selection tool, I'll click on the object, I press delete. Alright, so now I'm going to the rectangle tool. I simply click, hold, and drag the cursor across the artboard. So now I have a background of a color. You can lock the layer. Let's go over the layers palette so you can understand what's taking place here. Alright, in your layers palette you have a few options. You have your toggle visibility, you have your toggle lock. Then of course you have your layer with your name, the layer's name. Then you have the click to target. Now let me explain what these mean. I'll zoom out so that you can see what's taking place. Right now you see everything on the background layer. If I toggle the visibility off, there's no eye, there's nothing shown on the artboard. Notice there's a pencil with a line through it. The pencil with the line through it can mean two things: that the visibility is toggled off and slash, or that the layer is locked. So right now it's locked and the visibility is turned off. Visibility off, visibility on. Unlocking the layer means that I can see it and I can work on it. With the visibility on and the layer locked, I cannot work on it, but I can see it. That's for the purposes of setting up a composition and setting up your colors, and just make sure everything is the way that you want to see it. Don't forget that layers are like transparent sheets of paper on top of each other. So when the layer is on, you can see all that's on each layer. If you notice, I have several layers here, but I only see one thing because I only have the visibility on one thing. Okay, so let's go to the next step. For the sake of not confusing you, I'm going to turn the visibility off. I'm just going to unlock it. If I don't see it, I really don't need it locked. Alright, so the next thing is that you're going to place numbers on your artboard. I'm going to take a step back. How do you name these layers? You simply double click on a layer. You get the layers options window, and you simply type in the name of the layer and you press OK. So back to where I was going. Now we're at numbers. I'll turn on my layer so you can see what's happening. I have 3 number 7s. You're going to simply use the type tool. Click the type tool. Now notice on the type tool you see several little tick marks. Those just mean that there are more tools on that particular tool. So on that button, I have type tool and several other types of type tools. Right now we're sticking with the basic type tool. With the basic type tool selected, if you notice, once I click, you'll notice that your control panel has changed. That means that this particular panel controls the type that you have. So I'll type in my number 7. Notice it's very, very small. You'll simply use the selection tool. You'll see your bounding box. If you never see a bounding box, you always go to View, and you'll see where it is saying Hide Bounding Box. You will see Show Bounding Box. See? No bounding box, View, Show Bounding Box. You need this in order to resize manually. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and simply click, hold, and drag. What that does is constrain the proportions so you don't distort your type. What I mean by distort? Distort means that it's stretched out of shape, it's squashed out of shape. We don't want that, so I'll undo. Holding my Shift key, resizing. If I don't have the font that I want, I simply go to the control panel and I can click on the font that I want. If you notice, I don't see any examples, so I don't know what that font looks like before I use it. So I'll click on character, and you'll notice that the character palette opens up. You can click on the menu on the side. Now you have a view of what the type actually looks like. So I'll choose a font. We'll use that 7 for now. Alright, so now you have the 7, and that's just one. Next, you want to, right now you can decide to change the color, or you can change the color later. For the sake of moving a little faster, because I'm going to cut this movie short and just go through these particular steps. So I can copy and paste, edit, copy, edit, paste. Now when you edit, copy, and you edit, paste, you'll notice that the number goes wherever it wants to go. If you hold down the Option key on your keyboard while selecting the object, you will see that there's a double arrow. That means that you're getting ready to clone this particular object. Cloning just simply means click, hold, and drag. Now I have 3 sevens. Now you can go ahead and work with the 1 7 by placing in the color that you want. I'm just going to choose any color for now. And then making the copies, because then you can look in your color palette and you can easily slide these particular sliders to get your different values of this particular color, or you can even add the numbers. So once again, I'll clone, click, hold, drag. Sorry, let's do it again. Anytime it doesn't work the first time, just do it again. It works. Alright, so I have 1 7. Holding down my shift key, I'm resizing my medium 7. I'll place that on the artboard. And then, since I'm going small, I'll clone the medium size 7. And then I'll make my small size 7. So now you have your numbers on your artboard. I will continue with creating a swatch to save the colors that you have, and also changing the stroke. And may get into a little bit of line work. I don't want to include too much on one movie. So please replay to make sure you understand what's happening in the layers, how to create the type, and how to change the color.